He still does today as a young man. Fast forward, I graduate from Seattle University with a degree in finance, and he worked through high school. He worked hard. Through his junior year in high school, he finished all of his special education requirements. So to fulfill his high school requirements in his senior year in high school, he packed in all of his advanced placement classes, all of his AP classes, caught up on all of his math classes.
Wow.
He took geometry and pre-calculus at the same time, same year. You know, he was a track student. He did extracurricular work. And all along the way, he and I worked to apply to different colleges. And he got accepted into UW, the University of Washington, Bothell campus. Our family could not be happier. And he accepted the opportunity, and that is where he is now.
Oh, my word. Well, congratulations. I know. Congratulations.
Thank you. He started a year ago. He is now a sophomore. And in between the time of his high school graduation and his starting college, he looked at me eye to eye with a smile on his face, and he said, "Thank you. Thank you for helping me through everything."
Hannah, thank you for sharing your story about Philip, and my heart is just so full because I remember you shared, 6 or 7 years ago when I met you, you shared, what was going on in your life with me about Philip and your parents and so on. And so you have been on an amazing journey. Congratulations to you also for that Gates Scholarship and for graduating and being the first in your family, in your extended family, in your personal village to go to college, and for paving the way for Philip to do the same thing.
Yes, thank you for giving me this opportunity to tell my story, the story I often do not tell.
Yes. I am so aware of that, and again, my deep, deep gratitude and appreciation to you for acknowledging yourself, your journey, and your contribution to Philip's journey. So I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit more about what it means, Hannah, for you to come into yourself. I mean, you've probably left some parts of you behind along the way as you've supported and nurtured Philip. What does that mean to you, coming into yourself?
That phrase actually just came to me a couple of months ago. I was speaking with a dear friend, and he has his own journey, and he said to me, I don't want to be a responsible adult. I don't want to grow up and be a responsible adult. And I was so focused on every single word that he said to me. And I instantly said, don't grow up. Come into yourself. Who you are, come into that. Come into that person. I left that little girl with that little young teacher with an imaginary classroom behind. I even left her behind when I decided to major in finance. That was a choice out of necessity, out of need. It was around the time when I met you in 2010 when I started my graduate studies with organizational systems renewal. It was during that 2-year time frame and more after graduating from that program was when that little girl came back knocking on my door and saying, hey, I'm still here.
Yes.
Hadn't God traveled with you overseas, by the way. and I've been working finance, corporate finance for going on 12 years now. It doesn't make my heart sing. It's not something I carry in my heart. It has served me well. It has given me the means to serve my family and even the wider community as I connect back with my foundation that monitored and managed the scholarship I received for college. It's a local nonprofit, and give me the means, the stability that I needed to be with my community and to go back to that nonprofit and help more students who are of low income or underserved communities and help them to go to college. Not necessarily immigrant families, just families in underserved communities. And students with potentials and with dreams and motivation to succeed and to achieve. So as I do my 1 + 1 = 2 over here in my daytime job, at night where I'm most inspired, I think about what can I do that makes me stay up all night long. What is that work for me? So as I would say to my dear friend who wanted to grow up, I would tell him, I don't want to grow up. I want to be whoever that little girl is. And that little girl is still coming into herself, still trying to figure out herself. But at this point, I know that my job, my responsibility is first and foremost to myself, to understand and to find what it is that helps me stay up and be alive and be connected with the community around me. And I think in helping them, I help myself somehow. Yes, that is what it means coming into myself at this point.
Well, thank you. And it just warms my heart to hear you talk about serving these underserved students. And I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit more about the nonprofit. It sounds like a local nonprofit, and happy to share their name here with our listeners so that they can learn from you.
Yes, their name is College Success Foundation, and they are local. They're headquartered in Bellevue, Washington. I believe they also have a headquarter in Washington, D.C. This is, I believe, where I connect with them. Education is the foundation of success. Breaking poverty with education is their vision, their mission. And so this all goes back to my cousin being a good pupil, and I just can't resonate with that more because I lived it. I have lived that life, that mantra of education and going to school. College Success Foundation, CSF, provides scholarship and college programming. I think I'm not personally involved with the day-to-day operations as I just do volunteer work. I sit on their alumni board. But I believe the CSF organization reaches out to students when they're in middle school and planting that seed of education in their minds, in their thinking, in their thoughts, and stay in touch with them all the way through high school and assisting them with that transitioning to college, and then staying with them during college and providing whatever it is that they may need as they go through that college education, which is probably very different from the high school experience. And I sit on the alumni board as we as we welcome students from their college graduation entering into the professional working world. There's this tight-knit community of alums. What can we do to stay connected? How can we serve one another now that we are here together?
Okay, well, excellent. Thank you so much, Hannah, for doing that amazing work and for lifting up other students along their journey and giving back to so many, I'm going to say, well-deserving students. Even though I don't know who they are, I know who you're talking about because that's part of my story as well, as you know. So thank you. So I love, again, your notion of coming into yourself. You don't want to grow up, just coming into yourself and really learning more about who you are, where you're going, what you're doing, and for the sake of what. So I'm going to ask you a really big question right now. And my signature work, as you know, is all about legacy. And so I'm curious about what do you take with you from all of these amazing, wonderful experiences that you've had, from the struggles that you've had, the triumphs that you've had, Hannah? What do you take forward with you? And what kind of footprint are you leaving behind? What are you living for?
That is you're right, this is a very good question. And it is a very difficult question to answer for me at this point. And as I breathe and I'm closing my eyes and I think about what I want to take forward with me and what I want my footprint to represent, I'm leaving behind the fear of one day ending up on the street, the fear of failure. And I'm taking forward with me gratitude first and foremost. I'm taking two things forward with me: gratitude for my parents and for my family, my extended family, my global family, and for my parents and my brothers, my two brothers who are here with me now. Gratitude for them, for giving me life and opportunity, and I'm taking with me love and courage as I figure out my life's calling, whether that would mean I have an actual classroom with actual students, or I continue serving the community that I'm volunteering for right now. Whatever that, whomever, whichever community I'm serving, I'm taking with me love and courage. And my younger brother is always the person I think of first and foremost when I think about legacy. Being a model to him, leaving behind a path for him to choose to follow if he so chooses. And I'd like for him to travel not with fear and not of looking behind or over his shoulders, but to confidently walk in the path that he chooses for himself with love and with confidence and courage. And that is my answer.
Well, that's an amazing answer, and I so appreciate your sharing your heart, Hannah, and your soul. You know, it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of daring to do what you have done and to be who you are in this world. And, when you talk about that little girl, that teacher with the chalkboard and the tables lined up and all of that, and where I go,